Welcome to Keep What You Earn, your judgment and jargon-free zone for entrepreneurs of all levels. Get ready to learn how to scale your business, save money in taxes, and create a business that grows your wealth. If it feels like the financial side of business is like eating your vegetables, well, then think of this podcast as the ranch dressing to make the process a little more enjoyable. My name is Shannon Weinstein. I'm a CPA and business owner on a mission to simplify money and empower others through knowledge. I hope this episode inspires you to take action, but remember that the information we share is for educational purposes only and is not individual tax advice. Now that we got that out of the way, let's start the show. So in our last episode, I introduced this idea of having someone in your business that is responsible for financial operations. And I wanted to expand on that and actually clarify the difference between financial operations and financial management in your business, because they are very different things. And I think most business owners don't realize that there is a complexity to the financial side of your business that is more than just tax preparation, bookkeeping, and hiring a CPA and thinking they're going to solve all the problems. That's just not the case. So what I want to clarify is that there are two core functions, we'll say, on the financial side of your business. One is financial operations, one is financial management or oversight. And I want to start with the management and oversight piece. The financial management and oversight is your strategy. It is looking at your numbers, turning data into decisions. It is that fractional CFO role, but it's also taking the results of your operations and being able to do something with them, either from a reporting and compliance standpoint or from a management decision-making standpoint. So we're talking fractional CFO, your tax returns, your financial statements. We're talking about getting things ready for, let's say, a loan application. Anything that requires you to have some type of reporting or final numbers. This could be investor relations. This could be getting ready for a capital funding round. It could be anything like that. And I see that as like financial management. So it's having someone on your side to be an advisor to you on what the numbers are telling you and how to move forward, if I had to put it broadly. Now, on the flip side, there's this function, what I call financial operations. And financial operations is your day-to-day, let's just make sure we're collecting all the money, we're paying all the money we need to, and we're recording it properly. Now, keep in mind, bookkeeping could go into either category. I tend to look at bookkeeping as a financial management and oversight role. If you're hiring an external bookkeeper and you have someone contracted in who's a professional bookkeeper, I would probably categorize that under oversight and management, because that is an impartial set of eyes that's looking at this stuff and is asking questions in a professional way to uncover, decisions being made and understand your business more at a high level. Now, sometimes this bookkeeper is internal. Sometimes the record keeping is done internally at a very detailed level, and it's done with someone in-house who's maybe an operations manager who also deals with the books, right? So in that case, I would go with the financial operations side. But the financial operations side is really about the day-to-day movement of cash and the day-to-day management of the process. So making sure that the machine is working. Now, the difference between these things and why I don't think the same person should do both, I started introducing in the last episode with conflict of interest, right? But I also think that the more specialties you have on your team and the more different types of people you have, the better off you are. I think you would be hard pressed to find one single person who does all of your operations and all of your oversight who isn't a full-time employee. And the other reason why I think this is challenging is your financial operations is a full-time job, or could be a full-time job. The financial oversight is also, or could also be, a full-time job. When you look at a big corporation, if you've ever worked in corporate, you know that there's a CFO, then there's a controller, then there's an accounting manager, then there's a whole accounting department. And if you're looking for one person to be the accounting staff through CFO, that is a lot to ask of somebody. It really is. So when we're talking about the financial operations, we're talking about that accounting department that is responsible for what we call payables and receivables, meaning the things you have to pay to your vendor and the things that you need to receive from your customers. So these types of people are the people who are following up with your customers to make sure they pay on time. So if you don't have some type of auto pay in place, or even if you do and a credit card, rejects or bounces, right? This is the person who will help resolve that. Their main responsibility is to ensure that you're getting paid on time from your customers and that you're paying your vendors on time to maintain good relationships and to be in line with your contracts. So when we're looking at financial operations, that is their primary responsibility. And somebody who's in, let's say, the CFO seat wouldn't be as concerned with that. I mean, they want that to be happening, but you would not want the person you're paying a CFO price to be worrying about those nitty gritty details. We're also talking about the different personalities of being that, what are they called? Like a visionary versus an integrator. The integrator may have the attention to detail and be in the weeds and be wanting to follow up with all these little things and dot the I's and cross the T's. That's a great financial operations person. But when it comes to strategy, you got to be able to think bigger. You got to not be in the weeds. You got to not be worried about the little things, about following up with Susan who hasn't gotten back to you about a client payment. There's just a different level of detail that they need to be sitting at. So I believe these people should be different. As you probably know, I've been building my own fractional CFO practice for the past few years, and I definitely didn't do it alone. As a firm owner, without community and mentorship, you can find yourself stuck, undercharging, overworked, and unhappy, wondering how to get yourself out of this rut. When we don't create intention behind our businesses, we end up creating a new job instead of the business that we actually dream of. So my mentor, Michael King, and his CFO Accelerator program were instrumental in evolving my brand and my firm into what it is today and what it will become. And he and his team are teaching their 7-step framework to building a profitable fractional CFO business you dream of with a client roster you love. I'll be there along with speakers, teachers, and other fractional CFOs. Join us May 16th through 18th in Dallas, Texas. You're not going to want to miss this opportunity to learn, connect, and be inspired. Even better, Michael is offering a special discount for Keep What You Earn listeners. Check out the link in the show notes for more information. Here is how we've seen it successfully in our clients. And I actually recommend this for most clients who work with us because it's just proven so successful. I recommend that if you are running a business right now, and I would say if I had to give you a ballpark number, if you're north of like 500K, let's say, in revenue, it may make sense. I'm just saying that business maturity of probably being in business for a few years and being on your way to your first million, I would say you want to have a solution in place. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean separate people. Keep that in mind. But you need to have a solution in place to cover these two blind spots, which is financial management of the day-to-day, financial operations, and financial oversight at a higher strategic level. And the way we achieve this with clients is they have somebody on staff. Now, that could be their chief operations officer. That could be their operations manager. That could be a financial staff accountant. Or it really could be like all these different types of roles. But ultimately, their responsibilities include receivables, payables, meaning billing and invoicing and paying invoices. They have access to the quote unquote checkbook. They can run transactions. And that person works as the liaison, the primary point of contact with me and my team as fractional CFO. So when we come into a client, there's one client I think of it in mind that is extremely successful with this model. And we deal exclusively with their COO, who also handles financial operations with her team. So when it comes to the day-to-day management of cash, calculating the monthly burn, calculating the cash runway, we are dealing exclusively with the operations manager. And this is great because the operations manager then reports back to the founders. The founders, we absolutely adore them, but they have no desire to meet with us on a monthly basis. They just need to know the bullet points. They don't want to get super involved in the nitty-gritty details. But, as professionals, the operations managers want to work with us to understand how they can be operating effectively and how they can implement systems and processes to manage the day-to-day financials better. So they're using us as advisors on that. The founders don't have to get super involved in that. The team that they have has ownership of that function. And then we're able to come in and advise them. And I love, love, love this model because it keeps everybody on their mission. right? It keeps everybody on their mission and it includes only the information the founders need to know. So if you're a founder and you're like, I don't want to be responsible for the bookkeeping team and the invoicing and the vendor payments and all this. This stresses me out. Well, there you go. This is where you should probably start making a list of those things and start assigning them out to your either operations manager or having some type of role in place that will help you manage that, kind of like your own mini accounting department. That is not, by the way, your fractional CFO. That should not be your fractional CFO. It could be someone recommended by your fractional CFO, but I would say that it shouldn't be that exact person doing those detailed steps. Now, there is a massive opportunity out there for those of you listening who are in the accounting profession and offering these types of services. I was recently talking to another pro about this, that if you have a firm that offers both of these elements, like you can outsource financial operations and outsource fractional CFO done by different people on a team, that could be a really killer offer as financial integration, I call it. And that is where you have the oversight, the strategic, and the operational components together. It can be under the same roof, but like I was saying, I don't think it should be the exact same professionals doing both sets of work because you've got very different styles of work from detailed to visionary. If this is something that interests you, I would highly recommend looking into creating some type of role and having some type of clarity on the scope of what you want these people to do to optimize your financial operations in your business. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a rating and review on your podcast platform. This small action goes a long way for podcasters to get our message heard by more business owners just like you. Be sure to check out the show notes for links to information about our guests and ways to get in touch with me. We'll see you on the next episode.